about you. Oh, pleasure to meet you. Oh yeah, how you holding up? You doing okay? I did. Lisa holding up.
Okay, we're busy. This and that.
Nice. All right. So, are you the only bar mitzvah man today, or are there others going? Okay.
It's an exclusive.
Wow. Cool. Because we were reading, sometimes they do it together. Okay. Very good. That's nice.
He doesn't look nervous at all. He looks great.
Give big high. That's
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta get my phone.
The dinner go well last night? And look, we went down
I just want to introduce you to the rabbi. Rabbi Shadowbrisket.
Sorry. Good to see you. How are you? Sorry, good golden bear. Ah, Susie, hi, how are you?
Susie.
We're just down for the day. Greg has to see patients tomorrow, so we're not going to be at the dance tonight. Yes, we'll see you today. That's my husband, Greg. Susie Golden, sorry.
From the Glenwood days. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so how do you feel before?
I feel good. I'm nervous though, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good occasion. Yeah, I'm really excited that like everyone's here, so it'll be good.
Are you excited or nervous?
I'm really excited, but I'm super nervous too because although I don't know, half the people in here don't know how to speak Hebrew, another fourth know how to, but I think even if I screw up, I'll be okay.
What did you do in preparation for today's ceremony?
In preparation for today's ceremony, I studied a lot of Torah, like a lot, and I practiced for 30 minutes a day since January. And I've gone to Hebrew school since I was in first grade to learn how to practice. And what else have I done? I did Haftarah, which is like a different kind of Hebrew, and that's about it. I've done a lot though. Yeah, it's been a big journey to this point, but it'll be good. It'll be good to accomplish.
Was it fun?
Yeah, it was really fun, and tonight we're gonna party, so it'll be good.
So what do you think today's ceremony mean for your entire life?
I guess it's kind of me going into Jewish adulthood and kind of becoming a man in a way, so it'll be good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good to see you. Big day has arrived. Your day hasn't, right? But it's gonna come. Here.
Okay.
I forgot my belt this morning.
Back corner, you'll see it.
Okay.
It's not gonna take. No, on the other corner. Other corner was got.
Much nicer.
Thank you, Cantor.
You're welcome. You'll be fine.
No one's going to see this. Say hi to your friends before we start? Okay. All right.
Today, to you and to your family, your grandparents, aunts, uncles, friends from near and far who are here to celebrate with you. Throughout the course of the service, Michael will be leading most of the service. I'll be doing some. We'll be using the blue prayer book in front of you called Mishkan Tefillah. In that prayer book, you'll find the prayers in Hebrew. They're also transliterated into English characters. There are also some beautiful translations as well. We encourage you to be full participants in our service if it's something that is familiar and comfortable for you. With our music, hum along if you know the melody, but please, we ask you to fill this sanctuary, this beautiful sanctuary, with all of our voices. So before we continue, it's a pleasure to invite Ellie and Jerry Bednick to come up to the bima to present Michael with his talit. This is the first ritual act that he participates in as a bar mitzvah, as a young man's responsibility. There you go.
Michael, this talit is a symbol of the rich heritage you have come from. We present it to you with pleasure and pride in all you have accomplished, and in remembrance of those who came before you and received their talisim from generation to generation. We are very proud of you. Mazel tov.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu b'hitatev b'tzitzi.
Amen.
Our service continues on page 290. Page 290, as we sing a prayer that celebrates the opportunity to gather in this beautiful sanctuary. Every morning upon arising, we thank God for returning to us our bodies, our souls, and our minds. We'll share a few of these morning blessings together. Let's join together on page 291. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe. With divine wisdom you have made our bodies, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network. Wondrous maker and sustainer of life, were one of them to fail, how well we are aware. We would lack the strength to sustain life before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of our health and strength. Baruch atah Adonai, rofeh kol basar umachli la'aso. Turn the page, Eloheinu Shema, blessing for our souls.
Elohai, Elohai, neshama, shematata bi tehorai. Elohai, Elohai, neshama,
invite Michael's grandmother, Yoshiko Takami, to offer a reading.
The most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. It is the fundamental emotion which stands at the cradle of true art and true science. Whoever does not know it and can no longer wonder, no longer marvel, is as good as dead, and his eyes are dying. Albert Einstein said. Thank you.
We continue on page 306. Page 306. Kol haneshama tehalel Yah. Let all that breathes praise Adonai. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol haneshama tehalel Yah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol haneshama tehalel Yah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
נשמת קולך תברך את שמך אדוני אלוהינו.
We continue with Chatzi Kaddish on page 312.
יתקדש שמי רבה, בעולמה תברח חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי כל בית ישראל. בגלה, בגלה, ובזמן קריב, אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם לעלמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ידבר בתעולם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה, ויתהלל שמי לקדושה בריחו. לילה בין כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירה מימה, אמרו אמן. יאי לה 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 לה, יאי לה 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 לה, יאי לה 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 לה, די לה 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 לה, יאי לה 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 לה, די לה 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 לה, ברכו את אדוני. המבורך. Adonai Amorach Leolam Va'ed.
We continue with a prayer for creation. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uberei Moshe oseh shalom uberei et ha'ol Hamehir haaretz v'hadarim alecha b'rachamim u'tuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh bereshit ma'arahu ma'asecha Adonai kulam b'chokhma asita haaretz kinyanecha titbarach Adonai Eloheinu al shelach ma'aseh yadecha ve'al borei or she'asita baruch hasela or hadash al tzion ta'ir v'nizkeh kulanu me'ira g'ro Baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'mechorot. We're on page 315. God of all creation, you are blessed with each soul's breath. Your greatness and goodness fill the world. Knowledge and understanding surround your glory. Holiest are you among the holy, seated in glorious splendor, radiating purity and justice, bestowing loving kindness. In knowledge and understanding you created the heavenly lights, giving them strength and power to bring light into the world. Full of splendor, they radiate brightness. The world is warmed by their flames. We rejoice in their comings and goings, reflecting the will of their Creator. Glory and honor they give to you, glowing praises to your rule. You call to the sun and it gives forth light. You set the patterns of the moon. You are honored throughout the heavens with songs of glory and praise. We continue on page 317. O God, inspiration and guide for all, you have spoken in 1,000 tongues for us to hear. In every land and every age, your children have heard you and imagined you in separate ways. And yet, O God, you are one, unifier of humanity. We give thanks for the sages and teachers who bring us understanding of your will. Carefully we recall the lawgivers and prophets, the psalmists and sages of Israel, and joyfully remember that from the dawn of Israel's life, we would turn to you and find purpose. May the teachings of our ancestors live in our minds, and their passion for righteousness stir our hearts. Help us to live so that our daily conduct reveals the beauty and wisdom of your truth. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher ba'amo Yisrael ve'amava.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושמעתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך וברכבך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך ובשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטובות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני 21. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect. The song of God's miracles, and an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and generations to come. The song of a land once ravaged by war, now quiet and content. For soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
שיר החדשה שבחוגי עולים לשמחה שפת על שפת הים יחד כולם אומרים נכבו ויאמרו אדוני נמלוך לעולם ועד צור ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל ובטחי נומך יהודה בית ישראל הוא עלינו אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל ברוך אתה אדוני קהל ישראל.
Please join in Tefillah on page 323.
אדוני שפתי תפתח ופיה ייתן תהילתך אדוני שפתי תפתח ופיה ייתן תהילתך ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק, אלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל, ואלוהי לאה. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל העליון, גומר חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל. וזוכר חסדי אבות ואמהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחייך כל אתה רב ומושיע מוריד הטל מחייך חיים בחסד מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים והופך עולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות מי דומה מלך ממית ומחיה ומצליח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל.
You are the open door that beckons me in. Peeking around the doorframe, I begin to enter into your glory. You move me forward, O Eternal, to step beyond self-made boundaries. Lift my foot over the threshold that I might abide with you. In the house of the Eternal, I found my questions, waiting to be posed. They filled me with wonder. Sit with me, eternal teacher. Encourage my seeking. As I fill my hours with your mitzvot, so shall I be filled. Send me through your door, stretching up to honor your name, sharing out this wonder, enriching myself in the giving.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מעון, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, כבודו. אדיר, אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו נדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גול לך. לדור ודור נגיד גול לך, בשבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We're in the middle of page 330. Please be seated. On this Shabbat day, as you graciously receive our prayers, help us to hear your call. Grant us enough help to fulfill our duties and the compassion we need to attend to others. Teach us humility that we may perceive our own faults, and grant us the wisdom to be forgiving of others. Give us the courage to be true to our highest selves, and the charity to see the best in those around us. Give us patience enough not to become discouraged, hope enough to overcome all fears for the future, and faith enough to know your presence. O source of blessing, look with favor upon us. May our offerings be acceptable to you. We praise you, Adonai, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha v'vadecha v'yirach na'avod. Modim anachnu lach, she'atah hu Adonai Eloheinu, v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu le'olam va'ed. Sur hayenu magen yishenu, atah hu ledor v'ador. Nodelacha unsapir tvivatecha, all hayenu amsurim be'adecha, the all nishmotenu hapkudot lach, the all nisecha shebechu yom imanu, the all niflotecha v'tovotecha shebechu et erev v'avoker v'socharai. Hatov, ki lo halu rahamecha v'hamrachem, ki lo tamu hasadecha ve'olam ki binu lach. All kulam yitbarach v'tromam shkimcha, Malkeinu Tamid Be'olam Va'ed. B'chol ha'hayim yuducha sela, v'halalu et shimcha be'emet, ha'el yishmatenu ve'ezratenu sela. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ucha na'el v'chodu. We conclude our tefillah on page 334 with the prayer for peace. Sim shalom tova uvracha, neinu v'chesed v'rahamim, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Barakenu yotzenu kulanu ke'ahad ba'or panacha. Ki ba'or panacha natata lanu Adonai Eloheinu. Torat hayim v'havat hesed. U'tzedaka u'bracha rachamim v'chaim v'shalom. V'tov beinecha levarech et amecha Yisrael b'chol et b'chol sha'a v'shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai hamarech et amecha Yisrael v'shalom. We join in silent prayer.
Yud ratzon imrefi, Yud ratzon imrefi, ve'yod libi lefanecha, Adonai tzuri ve'kohani. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Oh, say shalom imramav, oh, yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imechu, ve'imechu.
Shabbat Shalom. One of the most rewarding experiences I have as a rabbi is studying Torah with my B'nai Mitzvah students. I love helping them discover that a text that is thousands of years old can still speak to them in meaningful ways today. And Michael will show you a little bit later in this week's Torah, how this week's Torah portion came alive for him. In addition to hearing Michael's thoughts later in the service, I also invited him to ask me a question about any facet of Judaism that I promised that I'd begin to answer today. So Michael wants to know, here's a nice little softball. Michael wants to know, if God wants the world to live in peace, then why does he allow so many wars and attacks on the people of the world? Thanks, Michael. Now, Michael, indeed, this is a very difficult question to answer. We all feel the tension between sacred texts that promote peace pushing against the real-life violence committed in the name of religion. And it doesn't make sense to us. An examination of our liturgy and the liturgies of the world's great religions will show you many prayers that speak of peace. Just a few moments ago, Michael, you concluded the Tefillah section of our service by reading the prayer for peace, Sing Shalom. Most Catholic and Protestant churches include a moment of choreography in the liturgy which invites people to exchange words of peace with their neighbors, saying something to the effect of, "Peace be with you." A common greeting among Arabic speakers in mosques is Salam Alaikum, may peace be upon you. Our three monotheistic religions are steeped in peace. In our Jewish tradition, we constantly yearn for a time of peace and tranquility. We conclude every service, at the end of the service, you'll hear it later on, with these words, Oseh Shalom B'Romav, may the one who makes peace on high bring peace to us and to all of Israel, and really to all of humankind. And we say Amen. And that's how we end our services, with that prayer, that yearning for peace. A real challenge, however, is that all of our sacred texts, from the Hebrew Bible to the New Testament to the Quran, include passages that beat the drum of war more than peace at times. From time immemorial, when one particular religion has been in power and not subject to the will of a greater political or military entity, oftentimes in their pursuit of a so-called peace, they have gone to war. When ancient Israelites had power, they went to war often. When they lost power after the destruction of the Second Temple 2,000 years ago, they didn't. In the Middle Ages, as the church grew in strength, its leaders would engage in crusades, religious battles, oftentimes very violent, that were intended to force Christianity among people who were not Christian and bring Christianity to holy places in the Holy Land. Islam, at its core, is a religion of peace. However, some of its practitioners throughout the ages, and unfortunately today in some parts of the world, have used regressive violence as a means to seize power and control. Now, in my opinion, those who engage in this offensive, aggressive warfare in the name of their religion, they're completely undermining the very essence of the religious tradition. It's not what God wants. But Michael, this gets to the second part of your question. Why does God allow this? Because, Michael, God gave us free will. When God created humankind and later gave us Torah, God gave us a model to emulate. Work 6 days, rest on the 7th. Live by the laws of the Torah. Love your neighbor as yourself. Care for the neediest among us. The overwhelming majority of us, whether we are deeply rooted in a faith tradition or not, do live by a code of ethics that inspires us to live this way, exercising our own free will for the good and for the betterment of society. However, there have always been and continue to be those who use their free will for nefarious purposes, as a way to exercise power and control while imposing force and violence upon the weak and vulnerable. They don't use this gift of free will in the manner that God intended. Oftentimes, violence is waged outside of a religious context, but sadly and too often, people exercise a violent aberration of free will using their faith as a rationale, as a reason for doing so. They look selectively at texts of violence that are found within our sacred texts as justification. They believe that a crusade, a jihad, or a milchemet mitzvah, all offensive styles of religious warfare, is what God wants us to wage. And I believe that these practitioners of warfare are just plain wrong. However, because God gave us free will, Michael, God does not change the course of human events. And Michael, this comes down to one's theology as well. There are some who believe that God is in control of all that happens in the world, for the good or bad. Michael, I'm not one of those believers. Rather, I believe that God instills in us, instills a moral compass in each one of us that guides us to do the right thing. Sometimes, and hopefully most of the time, the compass is pointed towards true north, and we're being guided well. Other times, there is a magnetic pull that points us in a direction that is off course. But ultimately, we are the ones who make the decision to wage peace or to wage war, to be loving and kind or brutish and mean. So while I do not believe that God is controlling the actions of humankind, I do feel that when there is a failure among humankind, God weeps for us, hoping and praying that God's creation, God's people, will change their path for the good. Michael, I believe that God desperately wants peace and doesn't want God's people going to war. I believe that the overwhelming majority of humankind wants peace. Our task is to be rodfei shalom, pursuers of peace, working diligently and tirelessly to root evil and tyranny from our midst, especially when it is in the form of religious-based violence. Waging peace can seem to be at times harder than waging war. But when we can help make peace between enemies, be they two friends or two nations, when we are exercising our free will for the purpose, then we are exercising our free will for the purpose which God intended. So Michael, I trust that you are a rodef shalom, a pursuer of peace, and a rodef tzedek, a young man determined to pursue justice. I hope and pray that you always maintain the strength and the courage to fight for your conviction and to do right in God's eyes as you help to bring peace, reconciliation, and harmony to our world. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
just a couple of moments, Michael will be called back to the Bima. He will take Torah in his hand. He will chant from the Torah and fulfill the act of becoming a bar mitzvah. Now, when we read from this Torah, this significant act, it can mean different things in different places, but in this congregation, because of the Torah scroll that we use, it, to me, adds a greater sense of purpose and meaning. Because although we have 4 Torah scrolls in this ark, right up here, the one from which Michael will chant has a very special history. It's a Torah scroll that came to us after it was rescued from the embers of the Holocaust following the terrible war between 1939 and 1945. Part of Hitler's plan as he was going through all of Europe trying to take control of all of Europe, part of the plan as well, as we all know, was to exterminate Jews in Europe and throughout the world. And the devastation that Hitler and his armies wrought on the entire world, and especially the Jews of Europe at that time, we continue to still recover from at this particular time in our history. This particular Torah scroll used to be used regularly in a liberal synagogue in the town of České Budějovice in the Czech Republic. And in 1942, this synagogue in this town was destroyed. There were 1,000 people, but 1,200 Jews who lived in this community. Most of them were sent to the Theresienstadt concentration camp during the war. Only 35 returned to České Budějovice after the war. When the synagogue was destroyed in 1942, the Torah scroll that was part of it was actually taken to a synagogue in Prague, the Great Synagogue in Prague, where that and other Torah scrolls were held. They were actually rescued after as Hitler's army was destroying most of the Czech Republic. The Jewish community in Prague wanted to rescue the Torah scrolls and other sacred objects as the synagogues and as the communities were being destroyed. After the war, there was efforts to take the Torah scrolls that were in Prague and actually safeguard them and secure them. Prague didn't have, and the Czech Republic didn't have the infrastructure to do so anymore. So these Torah scrolls were eventually sold and taken to a synagogue in London, at the Westminster Synagogue, where for many years these Torah scrolls were held, basically collecting dust in a basement, but they were still a remnant and a relic of a community that once lived and thrived and survived in the Czech Republic. In 1964, there was a plan to take this scroll that we are reading from České Budějovice, and about 1,600 other scrolls from towns and villages all throughout the Czech Republic, to take these scrolls and to lend them on permanent loan to synagogues and Jewish institutions throughout the world. Many of the scrolls, if you've been to other synagogues, maybe you've seen them. They actually are in a display case in a lobby of a synagogue building, maybe around a Holocaust memorial. Those scrolls are in that display case because they are too damaged. They're damaged beyond repair, and we're not allowed to read from them. We're very lucky that our scroll is still in good enough condition that we can continue to read Torah and we can chant from it. And despite the fact that it's worn well and we've had to do some minor repairs on it, it is still a very beautiful scroll with a very rich history. And we only use this scroll for 2 occasions. We use it when a young man or woman becomes bar mitzvah, at the age of 13. And we use it when they stand here and become confirmed at the end of their 10th grade year. It's a culmination ceremony for their formal religious studies here at Temple Bethel. And we do this because we want to link our children, our young people, to the history of this scroll that once was used in a very vibrant Jewish community that no longer exists, but is now being used in a vibrant Jewish community that continues to thrive. And every time we read from this scroll, we are reminded that Am Yisrael Chai, that the Jewish people, the people of Israel, still live. Because here we are, 70 years after the Holocaust, after 1/3 of the Jews in the world were killed, and here we are celebrating yet another young person coming into Jewish life, accepting the role and responsibility of becoming bar mitzvah. So Michael, as you prepare to take this Torah scroll into your arms, I'd like you to first come forward and to share your bar mitzvah pledge.
I am about to receive the gift of Torah and share in the sacred responsibility of teaching Torah to others. I am able to do this because I have studied and because I have made a commitment to the value of learning. In order for me to grow as a Jew and to share with others the blessings I have received, I accept the responsibility to continue with my Jewish education through confirmation, and perhaps even beyond. As bar mitzvah, I am responsible for the mitzvah of learning, and I will fulfill that mitzvah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has made us holy with your commandments and commanded us to be occupied with words of Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ha'lamed Torah la'amacha Yisrael. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who teaches Torah to the people of Israel.
So as we prepare to continue with our Torah service on page 364, we'd like to call to the Bima to open the ark, Sarah Takami and Madeleine Mojna, along with Lisa and Masahiko, who will pass Torah and present a special blessing to Michael. Page 364, please stand.
Michael, as Dad and I stand before you as both the bar mitzvah and as the incredible 13-year-old young man you have become, our hearts are filled with the same love, joy, and total awe we experienced at the time of your birth 13 years ago. Today, when you were still an infant, Grammy asked me how you were, and I responded without a second thought. He's magic. You embody a sense of wonder and endearment. You know the story I've repeated of the curiosity you displayed from your very earliest moments. I see that same intelligence today as you express inquisitiveness, concern, and enthusiasm about what you read in the news, observe at school or in community, learn about from a YouTube video, report back from your studies at school or at temple, and share an intense conversation with your friends and with Sarah. You know the story I've related of your eagerness to communicate even before you had the words to do so, and how I talked to you as though I understood every word of your intense desire to speak and be heard. Your impassioned speeches and gestures to emphasize your points and craft your arguments have become family legend in the intervening years. You seek understanding and justice, and you always persuade in a well-reasoned manner. You can imagine the incredible pride Dad and I feel today, seeing you on this bima, leading the congregation of your family, your friends, and members of your temple community. When I look towards your future, I see the qualities that drew everyone to honor and celebrate with you today. Your kindness, your acute perceptions, your protectiveness of Sarah, your compassion, your wit, your ethics, your love of family, friends, fun, and adventure, and your total commitment to everything you do and everyone with whom you surround yourself. You are, in sum, a mensch. Dad and I encourage you to continue your Torah studies as you embark on a new journey to study Japanese. You embody two rich cultures, and we respect you for living and continuing the traditions into which you have been born. You know how I've always joked that the day would come when you would grow tall and I would look up to you rather than you looking up to me. How very soon that moment will arrive, given your height, which seems to increase every time you come in to say good morning. At the same time, I want you to know how much I have always looked up to you and admired you, and how much I always will. I love you. Happy birthday, Omerito, and Mazel Tov.
Michael, congratulations on your bar mitzvah. In Japanese, we say omedetou to you, my great son, Michael. When I see what a nice young man you have become, it makes me very happy and reminds me of the 7th day of your life when your Gigi, Shigeo, my father, and your grandfather held you in his arm and made a small speech to the family and friends gathered to let them know that you represent 13th generation of the Takami family tree. You know the story that your family tree includes our ancestors who were samurai, Japanese warriors, which everyone gathered here might know from all Japanese movies. In the Japanese samurai tradition, a 13 years old boy performed genpuku, a traditional ceremony which symbolized the boy becoming an adult and joining the army. From the point forward, he was to be treated as a grown-up man, performing important jobs that adult man would do. From this day forward, you are considered a man in both your Jewish and Japanese communities. You can be proud of being someone who can take responsibility and can do something meaningful, such as your frontier work or something. In our time, you do not have to join the army or do heavy stuff right away. However, you are capable of doing such things mentally and physically now, I believe. As your father, I have and continue to see you mature. I'm really proud of you, Michael. I really love seeing you growing up so nicely. Please keep studying your life lessons in temple as well as in school. I love you, my son.
We'll now take this very special scroll, which I spoke of before, place it in the arms of Mr. Masakiko as it's passed from one generation to the next.
בשמיים ובארץ, לך אדוני הממלכה והמתנשא לכל ראש. ישראל, ישראל, ואורייתא חדו, ישראל, ישראל, ואורייתא חדו. תורה אורה, תורה אורה, הללויה. תורה אורה, תורה אורה, הללויה, הללויה. תורה אורה, תורה אורה, הללויה. תורה אורה, תורה אורה, הללויה. ישראל, ישראל, ואורייתא חדו. ישראל, ישראל, ואורייתא חדו. תורה אורה, תורה אורה, הללויה. תורה אורה, תורה אורה, הללויה, הללויה. תורה אורה, תורה אורה, הללויה. תורה אורה, תורה אורה, הללויה. ישראל, ישראל, ואורייתא חדו. ישראל, ישראל, ואורייתא חדו.
Be seated.
So as Michael prepares now to chant Torah for us this morning and to teach us a little bit about what he has learned about his portion of this week, he is inviting many, many, many members of his family to come forward for literally the coming up to, the Aliyah la Torah, the coming up to Torah. And so for the first Aliyah, we invite forward Michael's great aunt, Roberta Albert, and his uncle, Ben Mednick, and his aunt, Pitsuyo Mednick, to come forward. Yamdu Rachel bat Mordechai veRivka, Benyamin Ari ben Yosef veLeah, Aliyah Torah. Absolutely.
Baruch Adonai Haborah.
Baruch Adonai Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Haborah Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher B'Parganu Mikol Hakamim V'Natan Lanu Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber el Haron ve'el banav lemor. Ko tivarchu et bnei Yisrael amor lachem. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lacha shalom v'samu et shemi al b'nei Yisrael v'ani avarhem.
Adonai spoke to Moses, "Speak to our Aaron and his sons, thus shall you bless the people of Israel. Say to them, Adonai bless you and protect you. Adonai deal kindly and graciously with you. Adonai bestow favor upon you and grant you peace. Thus they shall link my name with the people of Israel, and I will bless them."
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher natan lanu Torah te'emet, v'chayei olam natan Eloheinu, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Kiss the And for the second Aliyah, we invite forward Michael's incredibly proud grandparents, Ellie and Jerry Mednick. Yamdu, Leah bat Mordechai Rivka, Yosef ben Shaike Rivka, Aliyah Torah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch
Baruch Adonai Hamvorah Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bacher banu mikol ha'amim, latananu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayehi bayom kalot Moshe lehakim et hamishkan. Vayimshach oto vayikadesh oto v'kol kelav ve'et hamizbeach v'kol kelav. Vayimshachim vayikadesh otam. Vayakrivu nesiei Yisrael rashei beit avotam. Hey. Nesi hamatot, hema umdim, all hafkudim. Vayaviu et korbanam, livnei Adonai. Shesh eglot sav, ushnei asar bakar, alala, al shnei hanesim, v'shor lechad. Vayakrivu otam, livnei hamishkan, livnei hamishkan. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, kach meitam v'hayu la'avod et avodat ohel moed v'natata otam el ha'vi'im ish kefi avodato.
On the day that Moses finished setting up the tabernacle, he anointed and consecrated it and all its furnishings, as well as the altar and its utensils. When he had anointed and consecrated them, the chieftains of Israel, the heads of ancestral houses, namely the chieftains of the tribes, those who were in charge of enrollment, drew near and brought their offerings before the Lord. 6 draft carts, 12 oxen, a cart for every 2 chieftains, and an ox for each one. When they had brought them before the tabernacle, Adonai said to Moses, "Accept these for them for use in the service of the tent of meeting, and give them to the Levites according to their respective services." Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah tanet, v'chayei olam natav avotenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Seat, please. And you too, for the other side. And in case the grandparents weren't proud enough, for the third Aliyah, we invite the immeasurably proud parents, Masahiko and Lisa Takami. Tamod, Viva Bat Leah Yosef.
Holy One of Blessings, your presence fills creation. You have enlightened into path with the wisdom of Torah, giving it to the Jewish people as their particular way. Blessed are you, merciful one, who gives his Torah to the Jewish people.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Vayikach Moshe et hagalot ve'et hamarkar, vayiten otam el halaviim, et shetei hagalot ve'et arba'at habakar, natan lifnei kidushon kefi avodatam, ve'et arba'at hagalot ve'et shmonat habakar, natan lifnei Mary, kefi avodatam, yod itamar ben Aharon hakohen.
6 Moses took the carts and oxen and gave them to the Levites. 2 carts and 4 oxen he gave to the Gershonites as required for their service, and 4 carts and 8 oxen he gave to the Merarites as required for their service, under the direction of Ithamar, son of Aaron the priest.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu. I lost where I was. Asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah. Amen.
Your presence fills creation, destroying the teaching of truth, all unrepared, and from it comes eternal life for the people who embrace it. Blessed are you, merciful one, who gives his Torah to the Jewish people.
Amen. And now, for the first time, we call upon Michael Takami as Bar Mitzvah. Yamod, 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 Habachur Bar HaMitzvah, Matatiyahu ben Liba, Chazak, Chazak, v'nitchazek.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
V'livnei kehat lo natan, ki avodat hakodesh aleichem, v'katev yisa'u, v'yakrivu hanasi'im, et hanukat hamizbeach, v'yom himashach oto, v'yakrivu hanasi'im, et korbanon livnei hamizbeach, v'yomer Adonai el Moshe, nasi echad layom, nasi echad layom, yakrivu et korbanon lechanukat hamizbeach. But the Kohathites, he did not give any, since theirs was the service of the most sacred objects. Their porterage was by his shoulder. Chieftains also brought the dedication offering for the altar upon its being anointed. As the chieftains were presenting their offerings before the altar, Adonai said to Moses, "Let them present their offerings for the dedication of the altar, one chieftain each day." Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah temet, v'ha'e olam natan b'tochenu, natan b'tochenu, baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Anybody, please turn to page 370. Page 370, and please stand as I lift the Torah, and you can see the verses that Michael chanted just so beautifully.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. וזאת התורה, וזאת התורה, וזאת התורה אשר שם משה, וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל, לפני בני ישראל. וזאת התורה, 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 וזאת התורה.
You can be seated.
The Haftarah portion for this Shabbat comes from the book of Judges, and I will be chanting from chapter 13, verses 23 to 25. The word Haftarah comes from a Hebrew word that means to complete. A Haftarah is a collection of verses taken from one of the books of the prophets, which we find in the second section of the Hebrew Bible. This section contains the history of the ancient Israelites and the messages of the prophets of Israel, whose words continue to inspire us to this day. The verses of the Haftarah are related in some way to the Torah portion that was just chanted. Sometimes the connection between the Torah and Haftarah is very clear. Sometimes it is not. These verses share a special message for the week that concludes with the reading of the Torah. I will first chant the blessing before the reading of the Haftarah, which you can find on page 372 in the prayer book. Afterwards, you can follow along with me on the Torah translation sheet. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar bin ve'im tovim v'ratzah v'divrem hanemorim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo v'Yisrael amo uv'invi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. V'tomer lo ishto hafetz Adonai l'chamitenu lo lakach miyadeinu ola u'mincha velo heirani et kol ele v'cha'et lo hishmianu kazo v'teleh ha'isha ben v'tikra et shmo Shimshon v'yidal ha'na'ar v'yavarhehu Adonai v'tachel Ruach Adonai l'fa'amo b'machaneh Dan bein Sarah uvein Eshtaol. His wife said to him, had Adonai meant to take our lives, God would not have accepted a burnt offering and meal offering from us, nor let us see all these things. God would not have made such an announcement to us. The woman bore a son, and she named him Samson. The boy grew up, and Adonai blessed him. The spirit of Adonai first moved him in the encampment of Dan between Zorah and Eshtaol. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzur kol ha'olamim צדיק בכל הדורות, האל הנאמן, האומר ועושה, המדבר ומקיים, שכל דברו אמת וצדק. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה, שנתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ולברך. על הכל, אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך, יתברך שמך בפי כל חי, תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. The Torah portion for this Shabbat is Naso, which comes from the book Numbers chapters 4 to 7. My specific verses contains two parts. First, the Birkat Kohanim, or the priestly blessing, and then a section containing detailed instructions for the chieftains and Kohatites who will move the sacred objects for the desert tabernacle from one camp to the next. The priestly blessing is a traditional blessing that asks God to bless us, protect us, and give us peace. In addition to having Rabbi Briskin recite it to me soon, it is also said at baby namings, weddings, birthdays of children, at home on Shabbat by parents and their children, and other traditional occasions. To me, the priestly blessing is all about giving and receiving blessing. Through reading the priestly blessing, I began to understand how I personally have been blessed, and how I have the ability to bless others as well. I realized when doing my two Mitzvah projects, one of collecting dog toys for the Harbor Animal Shelter, and the other volunteering at Harbor Interfaith Services, how much I have been blessed with good fortune. Harbor Interfaith Services provides transitional housing for homeless families and victims of domestic violence. Families can also get food and clothing and take classes in life skills as they slowly return to the workplace and recover their lives. My work at Harbor Interfaith involves tutoring kids in an after-school program. While working there, I have realized how some of the kids in transitional housing were born into or ended up with unfortunate circumstances. Compare that to this room. Everyone here today is lucky to have a home and luxuries that some kids or even adults don't possess. Every time I start my volunteer hours and walk into the child care center, I am always greeted kindly by very nice kids who are determined to finish their homework. It makes me happy to see their happiness even when they are going through a rough time in their childhood. From volunteering many hours at Harbor Interfaith Services, I've begun to experience how tutoring some kids for an hour every Tuesday may help to improve their educational life, even a small amount. I provide them with a blessing of educational support, attention, and loving care, and they provide me with a blessing of gratitude for what I have in my life. Moreover, it truly makes me happy to be with these children. The children of Harbor Interfaith remind me a bit of a YouTube video I watched recently made by a man named Fuzitu. He did an experiment filming an actor dressed as a homeless child who was holding a sign asking for money to provide dinner for his family. Fuzi's intent was to show that people tend not to give money even to a needy child. While filming, an actual homeless man walked up to the child and broke down in tears. Fuzi then asked him what was wrong, and the man told him his beloved dog had been taken away by the police because he had not licensed it. In response, Fuzi gave the homeless man $100 to help recover his dog. Later, the homeless man recontacted Fuzi, saying his dog had been returned to him and thanking Fuzi for his kindness. Fuzi blessed this homeless man by helping recover his dog, and Fuzi himself was blessed by the joy and satisfaction of helping someone in need. This is a clear example of what I feel God instructs us to do, to help others by doing acts of love and kindness, or as we say in Hebrew, gimilut chasadim. The first way in which I relate to my Torah portion is that the priestly blessing will be said to me later in the service. In other words, the blessing which I've heard many times will now have special significance for me because it forms a major part of my Torah reading. The second way in which I relate to my Torah portion is through the memory of my godmother, Auntie Jeannie, who passed away 2 years ago this week. As she was dying, my parents cared for her with support and kindness. Although she had lived in family, they had ignored her for most of her life, so in a way, my family was her family. My sister Sarah and I really loved Auntie Jeannie and took time to let her know this even in her final days. Now looking back on this difficult chapter 2 years ago this week, I realized that Auntie Jeannie's personal blessing was to have people to take care of her. Real estate, which was her profession, or business for anyone, can be rough, and you need friends, people, and most of all your family to help you in unfortunate times. I have come to realize that blessings are an opportunity to give and receive. What I will take away most from studying my Torah portion is how to act toward people with increased kindness and compassion in the years to come. Given what I have witnessed at Harbor Interfaith and through my extended family and community, I know how important it is to give blessings and receive them as well. I know I will continue to make good effort to help out people in unlucky circumstances because I now realize the situation some people find themselves in may be related to one bad decision that got them there. I understand that helping these people is a mitzvah which has to be taken seriously at all times. On that note, please join me in singing Shachrianu.
Hallelujah, Shem Adonai, Ki Nishgav Shemo Levado. Let us praise the name of Adonai, for God's name alone is exalted. So Michael, earlier this week, your mom had shared with me that part of your father's blessing for you was going to share this, explain a little bit about this Japanese ceremony, which also recognizes the entrance into adulthood within your Japanese tradition. And I didn't know anything about this, and it was really interesting and powerful for me to hear not only just the similarities of what it means at the same age of 13 to be recognized as a man within your community, both within the Jewish community and within the Japanese community and culture and tradition as well. I also was neat to learn that the Takami descends from a long line of samurais as well. But what I hope and pray is that with this blend of cultures, of the Jewish tradition and the Japanese tradition, and that sense of the samurai, which I think is a warrior, I hope and pray that you are a warrior for peace and good and justice in this world. You stand for so many things. You represent, again, the bridging of two peoples, two cultures, two traditions. And even within your American and your Japanese heritage, peoples who were at war 2 generations ago who are at peace today, as seen within your family and seen within you right here. As you continue to grow into the fine young man that you are and that you continue to become, I hope and pray that the lessons that you have learned to become Bar Mitzvah, especially the lessons of service, will continue to inspire you to do great things. What I always loved, I love that we had to change our meeting time a little bit earlier so that you could make it to Harbor Interfaith services earlier and spend more time with the children. I will always and gladly rearrange my schedule so that you or any other young person can go and do their Tikkun Olam project, their work to help make the world a better place. And I also hope that you'll continue with that work too, because your presence, being a role model for children who aren't as fortunate as you, who are just like you, but maybe don't have some of the same benefits as you do. What a great blessing that is as well. You talked about giving and receiving blessing, Michael. I've seen throughout your life, through your time here at our Torah school, the time that I was with you and your family, caring for your beloved Auntie Jeannie, whose yahrzeit we observed this week, I know, whose presence is certainly felt here. You are continually giving yourself, and giving blessings. And that is a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful responsibility for someone your age. Continue to give blessings. Continue to receive blessings. Continue to do good in this world. To be that Rodef Shalom, that pursuer of peace, that Rodef Tzedek, that pursuer of justice, and also be a Rodef Bracha, a pursuer of blessing, one who receives it as well. But because you have received so many blessings, you have given so many blessings, it's now my opportunity to share these words, which you just chanted right out of this Torah scroll just a few moments ago. I want you to come forward, please. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God's face shine brightly upon you and be very good to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. And may God reach out to you, inspire you to do acts of justice, of kindness, and to always bestow upon you the blessing of peace. Amen.
It's Hayim Lamachazik Iman Metomcheha Peushar Deracheha Archei Noam Vechol Netivoteha Shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha Enashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu
Be seated.
So, Michael, what a journey this has been. What a wonderful, wonderful journey this has been. Preparing for this day. I know that you understand that today is not the end of a journey. Today is really the start of the greatest journey. That journey of who you will be as an adult. How you will be recognized in both your Jewish community and your Japanese community as an adult. I know so many things about you. The beautiful, sensitive, loving heart of yours. That inquisitive and bright mind of yours. And how caring you are. How caring you are for all of those, and to all of those who surround you and who come in contact with you. It's genuine. It is who you are. It's who you will continue to be. And so I offer you now this blessing as you start this journey. As you start this journey of adulthood. That all of those same qualities that you have presented to us today and throughout your growing up will continue to be an important part of the blessing that you share with everyone else as you feel blessed in your presence. May you be blessed as you start on your way. May you be guided in peace. May you be blessed with health and joy. May this be your blessing. Amen. blessing. Amen. 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 May this be your blessing. Amen. May you be sheltered by the wings of peace. May you be kept in safety and in love. May grace and compassion always find their way from your soul. May this be your blessing. Amen. 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 May this be your blessing. Amen. Join me in blessing him. Amen. Amen. May this be your blessing, and the blessings that you will share and enjoin on everyone with whom you come in contact. Amen. Mazel tov, Michael.
Mark Kaiser is the president of our congregation. He's been representing the board of directors this morning on the Bima. It's a pleasure to invite him to share a few words and to present some gifts to Michael. Thank you, Rabbi. Michael, why don't you go on?
Okay.
I'll try to talk a little more slowly than Michael. But I know the feeling.
Michael, on behalf of the temple and on behalf of the board of directors and our entire temple community, I want to wish you Mazel Tov and welcome you as an adult into our temple community.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I know your parents and your family are extremely proud of you and all of your friends here. And we as a temple certainly appreciate all that you have done and the flexibility that you've shown in terms of our construction situation that we're in right now. So thank you so much for being flexible and adaptive about that. I can't say anything more about how kind Michael is, how hardworking he is than others have already said, and how much you give back to the community. It's just very inspiring to see what you've done with Harbor Infant, and I hope that you do continue that. I also know how dedicated you are to school, both here at Torah School and your secular school, and to your friends and to your sister, and the love that you show to her. All of which is kind of showing that you are learning how to live a life of meaning, a life of love, a life of giving back, and gaining personal fulfillment by giving back. So Mazel Tov, and congratulations on that path. We do have a few gifts to offer you. First, on behalf of Temple Beth El Sisterhood, we want to offer you a gift of a Kiddush cup.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Mazel Tov from them. This gift is a book from Rabbi Briskin called Tough Questions Jews Ask. We know you already have a start on that. It's a young adult's guide to building a Jewish life. So very good, very meaningful. Then a book from the Federation, the Los Angeles Federation, which is titled Israel Matters, to help inspire you on our homeland of Israel and to learn more about it and hopefully become inspired to want to visit. From the temple community is our New Union prayer book, the Gates of Repentance, your own copy of that. And also from NIFTY, the North American Federation of Temple Youth, they've presented you a $250 gift certificate to be used in honor of your bar mitzvah and to be used to travel to Israel on a NIFTY school trip or a summer trip or semester program. So congratulations on that. And last is a beautiful certificate to memorialize the day, as you see it. Showing like a Takami called to the Torah as a bar mitzvah and read, and your Torah reading here is mentioned. So beautiful and suitable for framing. And we wish you the very best and look forward to seeing you through confirmation.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Great. I would like to thank the following for their gifts, their help, and support. The Temple Bethel Sisterhood for the Kiddush Cup that I've just received, the Board of Directors for the Bar Mitzvah Certificate, and for the High Holy Days Prayer Book. The North American Federation of Temple Youth for the $250 gift certificate for a trip to Israel after my confirmation year. Debbie Rowe, Cantor Davidson, and Rabbi Briskin for all of their help in preparing me for this day. And I'd like to thank you all for coming today. I know some have traveled from here, some have traveled from far, and which is like cousin Ian from Winnipeg. I know there's a lot of other people from Canada and Japan and Ranch Palos Verdes and San Pedro. And thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
And Michael, thank you for leading us so beautifully and ably in worship and learning this morning. You know, the first thing that Michael said when I got here this morning, we were kind of walking up, Michael said, "So, how are you doing today?" That's Michael Takami for you. So in just a few moments, we will conclude our service. Just a couple of notes about how we will end. Is that immediately after our closing song of Oseh Shalom Mimromav, may God bring peace to us, we will stay here in the sanctuary to say Kiddush, say the blessing over the wine, and Mike will be able to use this Kiddush cup that he just got. And we'll also say Motzi, the blessing over the bread. At that point, for Motzi, I will invite all of our Torah school students, no matter what grade you're in. If you're in the Temple Bethel Torah School, we'll invite you to come up and help Michael say Motzi. Afterwards, everyone is invited to join for a Kiddush lunch. We'll have a chance to kind of celebrate with the family and eat and share over the Mash afterwards. So all of the seating is going to be outside on our patio, and I think luckily I don't think it's too hot out right now. So what?
We're in the house.
Yes. Okay. So there's seats in the house room as well.
Yes.
Okay, so sitting outside in the patio, and then there's a room right to the left of the patio where you can go in as well. All the food will be inside in the house room as well. Just kind of follow the crowd over there. Some of our folks from the temple will be there. We'll be there directly. It is obviously, if you've been in the hallway, it is definitely a little bit construction that we have done, but I guarantee you, when you come back in a few years for Sarah Takami's pocket spot, it will be the most beautiful space around here. So remember the before, the old, the in the middle, and the new as well. So again, Michael, mazel tov.
Thank you.
Our concluding prayers begin in the middle of page 517.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשה לפגועי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שמו חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר היה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ויאמר
595. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. As you prepare to say Kaddish at home, the mourner's cottage, for those who have died in the last 7 or 30 days, or for those who have died at this season in years past, the anniversary of that person's passing falls this week. I'll invite you in a moment to share names that are on your mind today. But I certainly, in reading this particular paragraph, this particular reading, I think, and I know the Takami family certainly thinks of Jeannie Wise, who died 2 years ago this week, and whose the light from her star continues to shine on you and Sarah and on your parents. And I know that her spirit is certainly with us today. Are there other names that people would like to add this time of morning? Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. Let's join together on page 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shnei Rama, Ya'amad yivrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechol v'yomechol u'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shnei Rama m'orach le'olam v'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpahar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei v'lisha v'richu v'ela v'yikol birchata v'shirata v'shachata v'nechmata da'amiran v'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlam rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'yomav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, to all of humankind, to which we say, Amen. Let's put your prayer books back and reach out to one another, including Oseh shalom. Oseh shalom v'yomav. Ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Shabbat shalom. All Michael's Torah School classmates, come on up to the table for kidding the room. Sarah, come on up. Sarah, come on up. Well, yes, come on with your brother. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Mazel tov. Ha
Thank you. Yeah. That is so good. These kids read so much Hebrew. I know. Me too. I tried my best not to have enough to let them It's amazing. Yeah, I know. Priestly blessing. That's right. Well, you've been part of the family for a long time. It's amazing. When I saw you, I was just finished.
Hold it nicely, put it in here, put it back in the station.
Always so phenomenal.
Okay. So Michael, Mazel Tov. Of the many things I said to you in front of the Bima, which I hope that this recorded, I need to remind you, and you know this, you are such a mensch. You are such a great person, a wonderful family. I think of when we stood with your mom a few months ago when she became Bat Mitzvah, and here you are a few months later becoming Bar Mitzvah. What a wonderful testament to your family's learning and their commitment, and we are so, so proud of you. Continue to go forth from strength to strength and be the good, great person that you are, continuing to give us blessing as we receive blessing from you. So Mazel Tov again, Michael. We're so proud of you.
Proud of you. You did such a great job. I know that you were really nervous going into this, but you worked so hard, and you really just showed us today how you shine. You are such a great kid. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so looking forward to seeing the young man that you will continue to become after today, and all the great things that you're going to do. Always know that you have a place right here with me anytime that you need someone that you can confide in or talk with about the things that are going on in your life. I will always be here for you. I will always be here to help guide you and to listen to you and to celebrate all the wonderful things that I'm sure you will do in your life. Mazel Tov again. So proud of you and love you so much. Mwah.
マイコちゃん、今日はおめでとうございます。バーミツバの式も無事できまして、本当に良かったです。いろいろ感動しました。私は宗教が違っても、主義が違っても、みんな世界中ファミリーだとつくづく思いました。隣にはあなたのグラミーがコーラスをしている声が聞こえました。私は歌が大好きです。マイコちゃんもみんなをつなぐ鍵になって元気で私たちと一緒に歩いてください。
Go ahead.
Michael, we're sending you a great big mazel tov again. This is your Grammy, who adores you, has loved you from the minute you were born. And as I said last night to everybody, I said, oh my God, when you were born, I said, oh my God, today you were just phenomenal. We were so very proud of you. And you remain the light of my life and our lives. We adore you.
Michael, in case you don't recognize me, this is your Zadie speaking. You were awesome. And all I can say is you should be the example for all young men your age who take on this very, very daunting task. You took it on like a man, and you became a young Jewish man in the finest Jewish tradition. Can't thank you enough.
Okay, Michael, I'll start crying probably, but you have made us very proud. You were a fantastic bar mitzvah today. We love you. It was so memorable for me. I was up on that bima 35 years ago, doing the same thing, and now it's your turn. And You did a fantastic job. You worked hard. You were very, very dedicated to learning your bar mitzvah, and we're exceptionally proud of you. As I start crying. So we love you.
Michael, おめでとうございます for your bar mitzvah. You make us really proud of you, and you're now a beautiful young adult.
Yeah.
That
You're also a
everybody's
teenager. Happy birthday, by the way.
Yes, happy birthday too. And we always love you, and we're so proud of you. You work so hard, and now I can see there's so many people really, really loves you. And keep up whatever you're doing, and be a great samurai.
And I wanted to add one other thing. Enjoy your life and continue to contribute good things to our society and trying to make changes in our world. Just continue being the menschy young man that you are, and continue giving the way you always give to this world.
Love you.
Love you.
And happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
All right. Hi, Michael. We've known you since you were very young, and now it's a pleasure to see you grow up and be a nice young man. You did a wonderful job, and we are very blessed, Grace and I, and my mom and dad, Eileen and Art, to be in your life. Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Michael. It's a pleasure to see you grow up, to be a young and handsome, intelligent, and nice man. May your life continue to be like that, and much success. We love you.
Yes, Michael, you did such a wonderful job. I mean, congratulations. You deserve, to have just a wonderful life, and just keep doing what you're doing. It seems like you're on the right path, and we are all proud of you, and I'm sure your parents are too. And best of luck to you.
And Michael, as I just mentioned to you a few minutes ago, I met you, at your bris. We've known your mom for as long as she and Susan have been friends at college, and you're a real mensch. I'm very proud and pleased to be a part of your party today, and it is a party because it's the beginning of the rest of your life. Thank you, Michael. Just enjoy yourself.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
This is for Michael. It's your bar mitzvah. First of all, your cousin Ian from Winnipeg, and I do want to thank you for mentioning me. Not that it wasn't well deserved after all the years of abuse and neglect I've had. It's only right. We love you. We love being here. It's a great time. You are a special person, and I'm glad I've gotten to know you. Happy bar mitzvah.
Michael, for all the years I've known you, I've thought you were a great kid, and I've always knew you'd be a great bar mitzvah and a great man. And I hope to keep knowing you throughout your years of coming to know yourself better.
Darling, I first of all want to tell you how proud I am of you, how much I love you. What a wonderful day this has been. We have all enjoyed seeing you perform. You're really something very, very special. What the rabbi said about you and the cantor said about you are so accurate. You are simply wonderful, honest, very fair and loving person. And it's a pleasure to be a part of your family.
Michael, we wanted to wish you a big mazel tov. It's thrilling for us to be here and to see you, and just delighted to see the young man that you are, and we look forward to spending more time with you as you continue to grow up. Our love to you from the Toronto family. Mazel tov. Mazel tov.
Michael, mazel tov. Thanks for making us part of this. It's a special time for all of us.
Michael, it's your cousin Shelley and Seth, and we are so proud of you. You were a wonderful, amazing bar mitzvah. The service was awesome, brilliant, and you're just a wonderful guy. We learned that today if we didn't already know it, and we can't wait to watch you grow up. From here, it's straight to adulthood. It's so fast, and before you know it, you're going to be in university and on your way.
And I was taking mental notes in my head,
for my bar mitzvah, and you just led. That was a great service, and
Mazel tov and happy birthday.
Hi, Michael. I'm cousin Janice from Toronto. You know, cousin Larry. We're so pleased to be here. Mazel tov on being a fantastic bar mitzvah boy, and we enjoyed every minute of it. Thanks so much.
Hi, Michael. You spoke about blessings and gifts, so I want to thank you for many gifts. It's a pleasure always to come to California or when you visit in Toronto to be part of your family. I was lucky to marry into a great group, and we look forward to many more great occasions, and thank you for the wisdom. I enjoyed your Devar Torah very much, and your chanting of the Torah, 'cause as you pointed out, it's a special parsha. I've always taken, of course, to the priestly blessings. And it's a pleasure to bless you and wish you every success for the future.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. Yasher Kol.
Michael, hello, good afternoon. I have just attended one of the best bar mitzvahs I've ever attended. You were fantastic. The service and the ceremony and everything that happened throughout it was just wonderful. And I'm so glad to see that you have become such a fine young man. And I am looking forward to sharing many more years ahead with you. I'm sorry we don't see each other more often, but I'm thinking about you all the time, and I am so proud of you. And I hope that this is the start of something very wonderful for you, and I can tell that you've been so good with the Harbor children, and I think that volunteerism is something that you should keep up. You're doing such a fine job at it, and just the empathy you have for other people, I can see it in your heart, and I am very proud of you. Thank you, Michael.
Sarah. And I'm gonna go to the car.
Oh yeah. So we have
Oh. Enjoying the food?
Yay.
Oh.
Yeah, congrats, Michael. Yay, Michael. Free drinks.
Free food. And he was like, I'm not doing science with these kids.
Free drinks.
We decided not to. Sorry.
Hi guys. You have some messages for Michael?
Happy birthday! Yeah. Happy birthday and Mazel Tov! Mazel Tov! Yay! Awesome! Yay! Awesome sauce!
I win. I'm better. Happy birthday and free drinks. Food.
So, Michael, we want to wish you a happy 13th birthday today, and most importantly, Mazel Tov. Congratulations on your Bar Mitzvah. We were so impressed with your studies, with your dedication, your volunteerism, and taking care of Sarah, our sweet little goddaughter. So, Michael, we just wish you a lifetime of happiness, of faith, of joy, of family, of friends. Uncle Bill and Uncle Greg love you, and we love Sarah too.
Yay.
Mazel Tov!
Mazel tov, Michael.
Hi, Michael. Congratulations. I know you are a good boy, and I know you are a special boy, a special spirit. And so the first days that I met you, I told you, Mom, that I love you. Take care. I'm happy and proud for you, and for Sarah too. This is beautiful too. And God bless you to you guys and for the whole family. I love all of you guys.
Michael, the last time that Daddy and I did this kind of video was at our wedding. And it is so unbelievable to us that here we are 15 years later on the day of your bar mitzvah. And I think you know that from what Daddy and I said earlier in the day, how much we love you, how proud of you we are, and how we honor you because you honor your traditions, both your Jewish traditions and your Japanese traditions. This is a day of joy and good health and celebration that we'll remember not only today, but for many, many years to come. We love you.
Michael, I'm very, very proud of you. I was very happy to see you did wonderful job today. And then you are one step up to be independent, and you know, you did a wonderful job. I'm proud of you. I love you, my son.
おめでとうございます。マゾトフ。
おめでとう。
はい。
はい